I honestly cannot believe Shelby America and Ford did this. I have no idea why Ford did not make a 350. It's something higher up in a higher level than I am in corporate world. I'm sure why Shelby America got to make and name that car that they produced. I kind of don't even want to call it a GT350 because it's not a GT350. It's the farthest thing from a GT350 ever was in at least my generation. The second you say GT350 nowadays in any group chat, any part of the world, literally anything you're doing, everyone knows it's a 5.2 liter with a flat plane crank out of an American car with a 6-speed Tremec manual transmission, not an MT82. I'm kind of blown away from the asking price, $110,000 for a Mustang GT with a wing, a trunk, a Whipple, a body kit, wheels, brakes, tires. Yeah, I'm sure they do other suspension components that you probably could get from Steeda or any other manufacturer. There's just really nothing unique about that GT350 anymore, and I think that is why most people are extremely, extremely upset, because the previous GT350, 2016 to 2020, I believe that they ended the 350s, they were unique. They had the flat plane crank. Everyone knew when a 350 was coming. How can you even tell that that is a regular S650 that doesn't have a wing besides like the fenders and stuff, sounds the exact same, got a Whipple, has a regular 5.0, that car is nowhere near worth $110,000 by any means. And here's a car that I would actually pay $110,000 for. 2020, my 2020 Shelby GT500 known as Zeus. Literally, this car is making 1,026 the rear wheels on E85 right now. And I mean, why would you even buy the S650 GT350? What do you get out of it that's better than this? The Shelby market is absolutely tanked, but after seeing the Shelby America's post of the 350, I think the GT500 market is going to skyrocket back up because people were anticipating a badass 350, and Ford or Shelby America absolutely did not deliver by whatsoever. Ford has stated with the dark horses, the 5.0s that came in the dark horse came upgraded and they can handle a little more power over a regular GT, which in the S650 GT350 terms, on the specs I was checking, it looks like a regular 5.0 motor. And standard on the dark horses, you either get the option of a 10-speed or the Tremec transmission, which that GT350 does not have. And I must say, for the record, guys, this car has been the best Mustang I have ever owned. Driving-wise, handling-wise, all around, this car has been phenomenal. So if someone from Ford or Shelby America is watching this video, and you guys can relay this video to the engineers at Ford HQ, please just, I would actually truly love if you guys could build a 427 cubic inch Coyote motor. Please, 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 please somehow do it. Like, even use an aluminum block. I know that cubic inch can be heavy. Like, I know the 7.3 Godzilla is a very heavy motor because it's got an iron block, and making a 427 cubic inch Coyote and being as big as the Coyotes are and the heads and everything, that's going to be a massive motor. So maybe go aluminum block, sleeve the block, still do dual overhead cam, make that thing rev to 9,500, and please just give the people what they want. I understand research and development is going to be a lot of money for a new motor like that, but we know the Coyote motor is a tried and true motor, but I think we're going to need something a little more to take out the C8 Z06. That is a very, very high horsepower naturally aspirated car, and they're using the 5.5 liter flat plane crank, which they're getting a lot more horsepower of it. If we can build a 427 cubic inch Coyote motor, that motor would actually like decimate all. I think that would be the ultimate god tier of a motor that would ever be produced. And if you guys could build that, a high compression, I like NA, that would be my cup of tea. And if you guys could make that, that would have been the GT350. I think that would have been the motor that the people would have wanted for a Shelby GT350. Something new. Shelby America just dropped the biggest apples to apples thing. They dropped the Super Snake. Okay, the Super Snake was cool. All right, rant and rave about it. It's over and done with. But now you just took, and it kind of just kills me because I was so excited for a new GT350. I really, really wanted one with a flat plane crank, and I finally saw the dark horse, and I was hoping Ford was going to nail it right on the head on this GT350. The motor is going to be good. Like, I know so many people with GT350s, the motors do not last. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Anyone who's tracking a car heavily, they consume oil. Even if it's running fine, they're still eating oil. I've had now, I've had 3 Coyote cars, never had a problem with it, knock on wood. Knock on some freaking wood. I've had now 1 Predator 5.2, but this is a cross-plane crank, not the flat-plane crank, and I haven't had no issues with it. Something with that flat-plane crank was causing that 5.2 to consume oil, which was a major problem, which I think why Ford discontinued it, because they lost their ass replacing engines on those cars. And who knows, maybe that's why they said, hell with it, we are going to bring the Dark Horse out, keep the 5.0 in it, give it a little parts from the GT500 to make this motor a little stronger. That's why even seeing the Shelby GT350 come out from Shelby America, it's like, how can you even justify that car being $110,000? I'd rather pay $110,000 for a Dark Horse versus that car. Because what do you get? I get a good rear cooler. I get a good trans cooler. Everything's properly done. 5.0 motor is still upgraded and stronger than that car that's $110,000. Braking on this car is phenomenal. This car actually has a Tremec transmission in the car. And it doesn't have a massive ugly wing on it with a ducktail that looks like it's just something that they got from 1960. Like, it just doesn't... I just think that was a disgrace to the GT350. It was absolutely horrible. Yeah, Shelby America, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Just to show you boys how big of a Ford family we are. Back-to-back Raptors, and yeah, not even all the Fords are even in the driveway at the moment. What worries me is I wonder if Ford is actually just cutting corners just to save their ass and they could keep certain cars going, but they had to drop one off the platform, which would be the GT350, since they kind of, they lost a lot with the previous GT350 with the motor failures, like I was saying. Maybe that's why they did that. Maybe that's why they just gave that name to Shelby, and they gave it back to them. Shelby America, they were like, here, you can use the 350 name, do whatever you want with it. Ford also trademarked the Boss name this year again. So like I was saying, I think the Boss might come back eventually, but who knows? Ford is definitely cutting corners in something, and I noticed it because 2025 Raptors have been showing up to the dealer, and I wanted to pop open the garage and show you guys the Raptors, because Ford did one thing. Obviously, I know it's for cost. They changed the side steps on the Raptors, which was kind of, I don't know. When you're paying almost $100,000 for an EcoBoost 37 package truck, I would like my side steps to say Raptor. All right, so 2024 Raptor here. We actually did switch the side steps around on mine. I've always thought they look better this way, but on the Raptors, they always say Raptor right back here. And then mine, I made it up front because I like the ambient lighting to come down and hit the Raptor. It looks pretty cool. I know that way is better for blocking rock chips, but I really don't care. Truck's been fine, no rock chips over there because of that, but I like how it says Raptor. The new 2025 Raptors just say Ford, and that just, it kind of loses the specialness to me a little bit when you just start taking little things away like that. And then when you give a company, Shelby America, the GT350 name, and it kind of just goes straight spiral into there. So here's my thoughts, since Ford and Shelby America kind of just shit the bed on the GT350 and maybe possibly the GT500. If Ford's going to make an S650 variant of the GT500, I think they will. There's got to be something a little less than the GTD and something a little possibly more than the Dark Horse, I'm thinking. But yet again, when Ford was comparing apples to apples, they were comparing the Dark Horse to the GT500 because theoretically, I mean, not theoretically, it is cheaper and faster to buy a 10-speed Dark Horse, put a Whipple on it, than it would be to do a Whipple on the GT500 and to drag race it. The Dark Horse is actually faster. The gearing in the Dark Horse actually better. So I don't even really know if we are going to see a GT500 S650. And this is just speculating. This is just from me remembering what Ford was comparing the Dark Horse for when I went to Barrett-Jackson to actually see the Dark Horse when I was invited to come see the car. And I fell in love with it. And I truly love it. This is by far the best Mustang I've ever owned. And sitting next to one of the other best Mustangs I've ever owned. These cars are phenomenal. The S650 was top tier for the Dark Horse. And the S550 for the Shelby GT500 was phenomenal. Like, they absolutely killed it with these cars. But I don't know, boys. Maybe it's something with budget. Maybe something is not going as planned. And, you know, it kind of worries me to see the Mustang sales decline. Obviously, I think that was because we were in the worst economy ever, and Ford still has the ECUs locked. I think that was probably one of the biggest turnoffs also from people buying these cars is because you really can't do nothing with them besides go Whipple. I have literally a brand new ported manifold for the S650 sitting here that we actually put on the car and tried to see if it would make more power. It wouldn't. We needed more timing, better fuel, and obviously it would have picked up power. I have a carbon fiber drive shaft sitting over here for also my S650 that I didn't put on yet, just because I wanted to do it on the dyno to show the power increases. But I must say for the S650s, a lot of you guys watching this are probably S550 lovers as myself. Like I said, I have a Gen 3 with an ESS, and that is by far like my favorite, one of my favorite cars also I've owned racing-wise, drag racing-wise. That car is a straight beast. But I want you guys to understand this. Listen to me when I tell you. The S550, phenomenal platform, but when I put the headers on my S650, I picked up double the power without a tune. So hear me out. I think, like I said from the beginning when I first ever bought this car, how much power this car picked up just from headers. To put it in perspective also, a regular S550 with a tune, a 93 pump gas tune, 93 pump gas tune and a good set of headers, you might see a 15 horsepower gain. 15, maybe 15. Let's just say 15 is average. Wheel horsepower gain. My dark horse picked up 30 wheel with no tune. That is no timing added, no nothing, which leaves a lot on the table for the S650s, all motor-wise. And obviously with both throttle bodies and both intakes, they are moving a lot of air. Extreme amounts of air, double the air that an S550 would move, which it may double the power once you did headers. So I still think once they're able to tune these cars and I can put the ported manifold on, my carbon fiber drive shaft on, and actually throw some 85 in the car and we can tune this, I still think, and we can obviously rev this one out to 8,000 like we should, and it shouldn't be a problem because my car, my 10-speed shifts at 8,000. Once you do oil pump gears, you're pretty much good to shift there, so we still might have to do the oil pump gears. But yeah, I think we can get 8,000 no problem out of these cars. That is my thoughts and kind of feelings about the new GT350. I also do think the S550s and the GT500s and the GT350s, if they're actually, Ford is no longer going to make a 350 or possibly a 500, I think the price of these are going to skyrocket back up. So I think I'm going to actually take mine off the market just because of the flop that Ford kind of did and Shelby America. It just doesn't make sense. I kind of almost want to wait to see what happens with the GT500 because if they don't deliver with the GT500, the value of these is obviously going to go skyrocket back up because obviously people are looking for a new GT500, and you know, people are selling theirs, and I'm obviously selling mine for other reasons. I enjoyed the car. I loved it. It was phenomenal, and I'm kind of done with it. But if I could hold it and make some more money off it, I'll be perfectly fine with that too. So I think it's kind of a waiting game to see what Ford's going to do with the Mustangs. I am super stoked, I must say, with my 650. I love it. Phenomenal car. I made many videos with that car. You guys should go check them out. Link down below. And I made many videos with this car. Like I said, I road tripped this car to Florida and back. I love Mustangs more than anyone, and I don't know. I'm just very disappointed about the new GT350. Please let me know your thoughts and comments down below. I'm just not paying $110,000 for a car with an MT82 transmission and a regular 5.0 that you can literally get in a GT. It just doesn't seem special to me. It just lost the touch. And yeah, that is that, boys. I wish y'all the best. Godspeed. I love y'all. I will catch you after winter. I got another video in the works right now. We've been building. It's pretty cool. It's going to be a banger. I've been working on some better content for y'all, but I had to get on here and say my thoughts because my phone is blowing up from all of you guys and wanting to know what I think of it. So there it is, boys. I love y'all. Much love. It is freezing outside. Godspeed. I will catch you in the next one. Deuces.